right, ladies and gentlemen, it's funny. I got an email from someone who watches the show. Said, I love the show. Used to watch Fox News. Love the show. Love all the hosts. Love Steve Malzberg. But Steve has said, please stop saying ladies and gentlemen. So the first thing I say is ladies. I can't stop saying ladies and gentlemen. It's, what I do. But, I mean, it just comes out that way. What, ladies and germs? I don't know. Anyway, watch Nicole Wallace before we get to Rich Noyes. I don't understand where she's coming from out of all the commentators. Watch.
If this is the way she's going to run her operation, if this is the mindset she's going to have, I don't think she's going to be president.
Gosh, I guess that begs the question of why not get ahead of it? If you knew you were responding to the request from the State Department, responding to the request from the congressional committees, why not be more public about what you were doing?
I think their calculation is, and if you want to know what it's like to run for president as a Republican, watch what Hillary's going through. The media hyperventilation over everything that the Clintons do reminds me so much of how they treated Bush and Cheney.
All right, I have no idea what Nicole Wallace is doing, but maybe Rich Noyes, Director of Media Analysis for the Media Research Center, Senior Editor at newsbusters.org, can help us. Hello, Rich.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, you go figure. There's Mark Halpern, who once said on this show that there are death panels, caught some flack for that, and now he's saying that Hillary's not only not the front runner, she's really harmed herself here. And there's Nicole Wallace riding to the rescue, comparing this to the treatment of the Bush administration, as if there's nothing here, there's no problem with what Hillary did. What's wrong with Nicole Wallace?
I don't know. I mean, she was talking on MSNBC last week that, all they're going to find are a bunch of wedding emails on this secret server that was set up in Chappaqua, if that's why Hillary wanted privacy for these emails. I mean, this is something where, there's not much of a benign explanation for why Hillary set up this scheme the way she did. The fact that the Obama people are saying they didn't know about it, the president said he didn't know about it until he read about it in the papers. Did he ever email Hillary at this, clintonemail.com address? That seems sort of unlikely. I think this scandal has a lot of Democrats worried because it reminds them of the paranoia and the sense of privilege that they can play by their own rules that marked the Clintons all through the 80s and the 90s and even into her last presidential race. I think this is something that Democrats have just gotten exhausted with explaining about. I don't know what Nicole Wallace is doing, but I think you're seeing the ABC, CBS, NBC actually treating this as a serious scandal, even though they've kind of ignored Obama scandals and a lot of Clinton scandals over the years. This one, for some reason, they've sunk their teeth into.
Do you think the reason is because they want to see an Elizabeth Warren or someone to the left of Hillary emerge?
I think so. I think, Elizabeth Warren has gotten a lot of really good press over the last 2 years. Hillary Clinton has had some good press. They liked the grandbaby. They liked that storyline. But the dead broke did not work for her. This email thing doesn't work for her. They haven't. The television media hasn't done a lot on this Clinton Foundation. But there's some suggestion that what's going on with the Clinton Foundation taking millions of dollars in corporate contributions, millions of dollars from foreign governments while she was Secretary of State, that if you dig into those emails, you may find something that's really a smoking gun on that. I think that's something that has a lot of Democrats very nervous.
Let's talk a little bit about the coverage of Netanyahu's speech. I heard Chris Matthews say that what Netanyahu did was come in and try to take over American foreign policy. I heard George Will and others on Fox, and they had to be really scolded by Krauthammer, say that the purpose of this was so that Israel could have the U.S. fight its war for it. And go to war against Iran. I heard, what's her name, Amanpour, Christiane Amanpour, call this a strange Lovian takeover of U.S. foreign policy. Is there a twinge or a tinge of anti-Semitism here?
Well, I don't know if it's anti-Semitism, but they clearly, the Obama White House has become partisans against Netanyahu, just as if he was a congressional Republican. I mean, they're cursing at him in off-the-record magazine interviews. It's not being seen as a media scandal. But what I think is interesting in terms of a media moment is the Netanyahu speech was the first time viewers heard really any sustained criticism of the president's Iran policy. It's been something that's been off the radar screens as far as ABC, CBS, or NBC are concerned. Netanyahu gives a speech, there's a little bit of coverage. A lot of it is about negative coverage of Netanyahu or the way the Republicans choreographed it. But look at the Fox News poll that came out after that. 84% of Americans think the deal as outlined is a bad deal.
Yep.
59% think the president is a weak negotiator. I mean, just one tiny little moment of criticism, and you get those kind of poll numbers. Imagine if we had a sustained national debate about what he's doing.
Absolutely. Great point. Rich, always great to talk to you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, Rich Noyes, folks, from the Media Research Center. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Bob Scheer. So don't go away. Of course, this is the Steve Malzberg Show, and you're watching the one and only Newsmax Television.